This is the first video interview that I'll be doing from Westinghouse Intervention. I'm Dian Buckley-Westinghouse, and the reason why I'm creating this is to make sure people are aware that other people exist and how they can help you and support you. So the first person ever is going to be April Broussard.
I throw paint in this studio. Throw the paint, throw it, slap it on the wall. It's okay, get it out. Just notice what you're experiencing and getting it out. Think about the artist name I'm going with, May Wild, right? From the outside, it can look wild. What I do is I guide people creatively, utilizing the mind, the body, and something deeper to help us remain curious.
So I want you to explain all of your qualifications, because you haven't even mentioned them. So what are you trained in?
So I have my master's degree in social work. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a trauma therapist, but I have learned that I am a teacher and that I am a guide, and I am able to guide people quite effectively into a space of knowing their true selves, knowing their truer selves, knowing their authentic selves, which is an innate healing ability that we all have. And I would encourage everyone to tap into that.
So basically, guys, this is a conversation. This is all, you're in our conversation. And the first thing I want to do, though, is I want to find out if you could put your life, the journey of your life, in 5 minutes. Could you do that in 5 minutes?
Such a full life so far, full of experiences that I've taken a lot of work to grow from. So I think from the very beginning, I'd say that my life was quite innocent. Between 5 and 6, there was a huge shift, and I became incredibly lonely. And I think I chased after that most of my life, trying to fill my life any way that I possibly could to not feel lonely. And it wasn't until I had done a lot of work and really working with different therapists and myself and utilizing different resources like creativity, art, music, all of these different things really started to add something to my life. It helped me begin to kind of connect with something in me. And then when I started intuitively painting, I began to know myself on a deeper level. And I began to understand myself more and the world around me more on a deeper level. Mm-hmm. And I began to really have a relationship with myself. And when that started happening, I noticed that the loneliness lifted. So the loneliness wasn't really about filling it with another human. The loneliness was about connecting with my own soul, not another's soul. And when that started happening, just people and experiences started to enter my life that became richer and fuller and more connected and just touching and compassionate. And I guess that's been kind of the journey of my life so far. It wasn't too long ago that I don't think anyone could have put that into words for me to help me grasp that. And in fact, I think it was probably even within the past 5 or 10 years that if someone said, oh, just have a positive perspective or a positive outlook and then it'll be better. I probably could have just told them to go F off, to be really honest, because that wasn't how I could connect at that time. So it really is a journey. It's not really about skipping these pieces. When you come to work with me, we're not going to start here and jump over the mountain. We're going to dig the tunnel. We're going to dig the tunnel to get through that mountain. So it's a lot of work, but that's the magic in it. Really is about what you invest in you.
What is the thing that enabled you to get that grasp, to be willing to be aware?
One of the biggest shifts was when I participated in a process group that included using some creativity, using journaling, dream work, a little bit of art journaling was a part of it. And it was in a small group, and we worked through naming shame that had kind of plagued us throughout our lives. these stories that we carried with us, that the way that we carried them with us was if there was something innately wrong with us. Now when I hear that, I have so much compassion and empathy for that child part of me that just was wounded through all those years, because that part of me just didn't know how to not hear that anymore. And to be honest, it took sitting in a group of other people being vulnerable. Something that I discovered is I never felt confident in the language or the words. I never really knew how to put into words what I was experiencing and what I was feeling. And to be honest, I never felt safe putting into words what I was noticing and experiencing. And I never felt safe because as a child and a young adult, it was not looked good upon to express myself unless I was anything but happy. So what happened was, when I was expressing myself as happy, it wasn't authentic, because there was so much in there that I had to hide. I had to hide the fear. I had to hide the anger that really ended up being rage, because I had to hide it my whole life. The grief, having to hide the grief was so hard. So what I found was using creativity, using doodling, sketching, painting, throwing paint on canvas was a way for me to express the grief, the rage, the anger, the sadness. Painting, and I mean, when I say throw paint, I mean I throw paint in this studio, and I encourage others that come here to throw the paint, throw it, slap it on the wall. It's okay, get it out. Just notice what you're experiencing and getting it out. So I was able to find a way to express myself without the words, and for me, that's impactful to this day, because I still do have a little thing back there that says, oh, you can't communicate well, or you can't communicate very fluidly. And part of that, what I say now, is maybe I don't have the words, and I might not know how to verbalize exactly what I'm trying to get through, but oh my gosh, give me some paint. I don't even need a paintbrush. Just give me some paint and let me express it that way. It's just become an incredibly healing journey for me. Every single time I lay some paint on a canvas or a wall, it's just here, this journey is about to happen, and I don't know where it's going to take me. And I never have this is what this is going to look like when I'm finished. I have no idea. Just let it go. Just let it go. And that's what I encourage others to do.
I know for me, I love to draw and I love to create, but the idea of just smacking the paint, I'm just how far would I take it? And you're saying just let go and trust and just
let go. Let it happen. Yell, scream, kick, throw the paint. Yeah.
Oh man, you must see some signs.
Oh, it's great. We get into it together. It's great. I'll join in with them. Yeah, let's go. People usually don't enter this studio and go, I'm ready to be angry, or I'm ready to rage out.
Yeah.
People usually, when they're new to this, usually they're still have this armor on, protecting this very vulnerable, jelly that you kind of become, that you can't really hold. You don't feel like you can hold yourself up without this armor on. So we do kind of the work to get comfortable enough, to connect enough, and to be authentic enough that it's okay for you to be seen in your vulnerability. It's okay. We can see each other without the armor, and you're still enough without the armor.
Miracles happen. Yeah. Magic happens when you give someone a space to be. So I've spent 16 years teaching, and I never planned to be a teacher, ever. And I teach a lot of stuff which is about self-expression, and me myself find it hard to be self-expressed. So I'm very honest with the kids about it. There's a side of them where it's they're still willing to just question.
I want to keep them in those questions, in a way that's emotionally intelligent. Remaining curious is, it's essential to growth, and it's essential to kind of taming the ego, maybe there's more answers than just this. I don't know.
Describe that more, because
yeah, well, sometimes so we all have an ego side, and that's just part of being human. But if we're not willing to remain curious, then bits and parts of what our ego tells us becomes fact. And then we kind of get stuck in a box. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you that through experience and continuing to work through my own traumas, by going to and participating in experiential work, experiential practices, experiential therapies, writing workshops, art workshops, just exploring, even if I don't know, what to do with that either way, just being open to it and exploring the possibility. So yes, my degree is in social work. I am a therapist. I'm an EMDR trained therapist. EMDR is a cool little magic wand that I can use that kind of it helps us get unstuck. Using sound and movement and mindfulness practices, all of that is phenomenal and important. And what I do is I guide people creatively, utilizing the mind, the body, and something deeper to help us remain curious.
Look, I'm all about going with your flow. I really, really listen to my heart. And when Arthur said, sweetheart, I want to save lives and I want to do it the right way, whatever the right way is for whoever it is, I listened and I prayed and I was like, this feels right. And I'm still like in a space of, wow. And it's so beautiful because we'll go into a center, treatment centers, and we'll play for people and sing for people. And it's a must. We are all teachers.
Right.
And I'm going off on a tangent, but what I really get is like, life isn't normally how you think it would be.
Yeah.
And it is about letting go, surrendering, trusting, and knowing something way bigger than me knows what they're doing. The biggest time I'm in stress and conflict is when I try and take charge.
Yeah.
When I try and take charge, and it's like, yeah, but I should be here and I should be Beyonce or I should be, I should be doing this. And it's all about looking good. It's all about...
It's the ego.
Yeah, it's the ego.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like what people are going to perceive me to be rather than
right.
what I'm called to do.
This is how the universe or my heart or whatever is helping me reach the people that I can reach. That I can be, that I become a teacher for them in that moment. Mm-hmm. And everyone that I become a teacher for ends up being a teacher for me as well. And maybe that's why there's so much rapid movement and why it is so wild. But I like that wild ride.
What I get is like acceptance as well. Like you notice you have a wild side, but it's about acceptance. Like the words that I keep hearing you repeat are letting go, acceptance, trust, self-expression, freedom. These are qualities. So as a compassionate healer, creative thinker, therapist, all of that, teacher, this is what you're offering your people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How to connect with who you are as authentically as possible and live and experience your life as authentically as possible without having an agenda to be or act or look the way that someone else might want you to. Mm-hmm. Instead, you're coming from an authentic space and that you're enough in that space, and life just opens up to you. It absolutely just flourishes when you practice being in that authentic space. And that's what I am passionate about leading people to, their authentic space. Galileo!
Here we go. There's going to be a singing segment.
Galileo Figaro!
So what do you want to say to somebody that's listening in, whether it's your peers or whether it's somebody that does need to connect to you? What is it that you want to leave them with?
Okay, so a couple things. One is, the number one thing is knowing that you matter. You matter, period. And if I can teach anyone anything or help anyone connect with anything, I think that's the most important thing, is to help each individual connect with that space in their heart that they know undoubtedly that they matter. To have that compassion and empathy here first, because we cannot authentically spread compassion and empathy everywhere else unless we're connecting with it within. And remain curious, or become curious again. Every one of us has been curious at one point in our lives, and sometimes life experiences maybe makes that curiosity go into hiding, but I can help you get that curiosity back for sure.
So what are all the details you want to leave for people?
Yeah, so this is Sanctuary Studio, and the website is thesanctuarysociety.com. So you can follow me there. You can follow me on Sanctuary Studio 615 on Instagram. And on Facebook, it's Sanctuary Studio as well. So the only thing that's different is that website. It's www.thesanctuarysociety.com. And I sure hope you join the mailing list and see what's going on here. And just reach out, because I also work with individuals as a therapist. I'm happy to do that. But a lot of the big creative work happens in the studio. So I hope to see you there.
This room is amazing. It's like going into Santa's cave of goodies, of artwork. It's like an adventure being in here. Please reach out to April. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.